Okay, okay. Okay, okay. Let me see my audio levels here for a second. I think it's not that. Set this needs to be closer to my dumb face. Needs to point at my mouth, at my ridiculous mouth. And I think that's about right. A little bit back there. Alright. Should be okay. Maybe it's a bit too... Does my voice sound alright? Am I loud enough? Or am I too loud? I think I should be average to low. Hello Falls. Hello Abel. Hello Roly Poly. Hello Project Angryman. Hello AP Chuck Arthur. Androtaz, M Lord, Ortal, Cyrillic Characters. Hello everybody. What's up? It is August 2nd, a Tuesday. We need to draw. It's morning coffee. Just draw whatever you want. Be light on expectations, heavy on execution. Not like quality execution, you know what I mean? Just doing it. Not coffee for me today, I'm doing tea. I already had my giant cup of coffee. Thanks, MG Sonic. I gotta get these wires out of my way. What time is it over there? It is 9:25 a.m. in New York. It's as good a time as any to draw. What are your thoughts on Krita versus Photoshop? I have not used Krita. I use Photoshop because I'm very used to it. I've been using Photoshop for over a decade. Forget over a decade, I mean over 2 decades. I think the first time I used Photoshop, I was like, yeah, probably 13 years old, so it's been almost 20 years of Photoshop experience, knowledge, and anger. And unbelievable anger with Photoshop. Just wishing Photoshop was different. But you know, it's once you're used to something, it's hard to move past it because you know where all the menu items are, you know how to fix glitches, you know. They're still glitches, but they're your glitches. I have my keyboard shortcuts just the way I, not that I necessarily like, I often think of changing them, but again, that's what I'm used to. Sketchbook. Why are drawing trees so fun? See, the problem is that they really shouldn't be. That's pretty worrying that you think they're fun to draw. You know, I don't want to like overreact to one little statement, but that's That's pretty troubling. That is pretty troubling. Just, you know, like, take care of yourself. Do what it takes to get, like, good medical care and stuff like that. Hello, Gemmel. I guess some people like Krita better, more user-friendly. I've never used Photoshop very much. Yeah, I don't know. Thiago says trees don't look bad even if you mess them up. I have to say I disagree with that. I think trees can definitely look bad. Most people's trees come out looking like octopuses. I shouldn't even say most people's, because even great landscape painters, you look at enough of their paintings, a few octopuses will sneak in there. Some ugly trees that look like claws reaching towards the sky. Or even that would be too cool. They just become amorphous. Is this the I disagree Stevens about the episode? Yeah, I'm just going to be purposefully contrarian on this one. Because that's what works on the internet. You know, that's how you get views. It's just be contrarian. As a respected contrarian, I should know. Whoops. Would your course help with perspective since form is in perspective? I believe it does in the long run. Like a lot of the critiques that I give in the back of house involve perspective principles, but like when you're, for example, in the course, when you have the first cube demo, I only teach the bare essentials of perspective necessary to execute the cube. So, you know, a perspective class really needs to be a thing on its own. You know, it's not really something to be learned in conjunction with other things unless you have a lot of time. So there is perspective instruction in there, but it's not like a detailed perspective education on its own. I teach the bare minimum necessary to make the cube well. So when I teach the cube in there, I just show really quick how to put vanishing points really far apart on a piece of paper, how to make sure that if you're in local sunlight and the cube is casting shadow edges that are parallel to the edges that are casting them, how to make sure that those go back to the same vanishing point as the edges that are casting them, things like that. I am actually... So that is the case. That's what I think where the course kind of sits on perspective, and I cover perspective principles throughout. But that said, I actually am planning on adding a bit of a deeper dive perspective crash course for the cube sometime this week. But I don't want to pretend that even that is some sort of deep perspective education. It's just like an intermediary step for people who want to get more detailed with their base constructions. Trees are very hard to draw. Yep. Rocks are hard. The trouble with trees and rocks is really avoiding those shapes repeating themselves over and over again. That's the real problem with those guys. That's the hard part. You got to invent a lot of variety. How much of what you draw do you have a picture of in your head before you put pencil to paper? It varies. You know, like right now, there's nothing in my head. I'm just reacting to what I put down. But there's other times I have a very clear picture in my head. You know, it came to me while I was driving or something like that. And I base everything that I'm doing off of trying to capture that feeling. But it varies. You know, my relationship with art is very varied. So I work in all sorts of ways. I don't make hard demands for how pictures present or anything like that. If they want to be clear, that's fine. Let's work with them clear. If they want to be fuzzy, let's work with them fuzzy. If they want to be non-existent, let's work with them non-existent. I have a very varied relationship with drawing. Goodbye, Vigil. Steven, have you ever taken an art director role professionally? No, I have been offered them, but I have not taken them. I don't, I would take it if, I would do it if the role, you know, I trusted the studio, I trusted the job, and I knew that in that position I would, still get to draw a lot, still get to make pictures, but I'm not really interested in like being a manager, and most of being an art director in most situations is managing other people and stuff like that. Maybe later. Good morning, Muffin. Do you apply shape design to your drawings? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, shape design, yeah. An old technique. Not entirely debunked by the academics, but still quite useful within its thin applications. Yes, I learned of it in the academy. Just one of my many areas of expertise. Can we say if it works, doesn't work, makes a difference, doesn't make a difference? Well, these questions I prefer to leave to the philosophers. I feel I have many more practical matters to attend to. He's the old boss man. Have you played other games by From Software or just Bloodborne? I've played several of their games. Dark Souls 1, 3, not 2, a bit of Sekiro, Elden Ring. Has Giger been an inspiration for you? Of course. Let's see, what else do I want to draw? What's on the morning coffee mind? What's the panel between your layer tab and your navigator? That is Layer Factory. There is a link in the description. I need this larger. No, I need my guy's head smaller. Maybe I do want... Nah, maybe I'll keep sketching on gray. Let's get that back. Is Photoshop your go-to tool, or do you also switch between CSP sometimes? It's usually my go-to. I'm just very used to Photoshop. I think if you only want to draw, Clip Studio is probably the better choice, personally. It's my personal opinion. But I've had to do way more than drawing. And I do still have to do way more than drawing, you know, making diagrams for teaching and stuff like that. All that stuff. If you're only going to draw, I think programs like Clip and Procreate are probably a better choice for most people. But it's hard for me to break away from Photoshop because I do so much more than draw, you know. And even if you do certain kinds of art, like back when I was doing tons of like photoreal photo bashing stuff for studios, it was like, I don't really know how you do that in a program like Clip. You know, it's just not built for it. If you do photo bashy stuff, then Photoshop's the way to go because it has so much stuff designed just for photos, for editing photos. Do you know the work of Dennis Saharazin? I do not. Well, I probably know his work, but I don't know his name. It seems to go like that a lot for me. If I saw his work, I'd probably be like, oh yeah, I know him. But I'm getting worse and worse at keeping track of people's names these days. Because I'm too busy. I'm taking up all of that valuable cognitive space with Lemon Gate theories from Game of Thrones. Not really a question, but as somebody who works on a computer all day, it is so much easier to want to draw when I'm not doing it on a computer, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, traditional is the best. I really only do digital to mess around these days. Just because it's so flexible. But I can't do anything serious digital. I simply cannot pay enough attention to it. It's too unreal. When I want to do something very as serious as I'm going to do these days, it invariably winds up being traditional. Oops. Alright, guess I'm committed to that, whatever. Have you ever played the Dante's Inferno game way back in the 2010s? What are your thoughts on it? I have not played it. That's the one where Dante has like a scythe, right? You're like going through hell with a scythe. Bit of a stretch. A loose interpretation of Dante's Inferno. If you actually read Dante's Inferno, it's mostly references to Italian history. So not exactly the most action-packed thing. I mean, there's some famous scenes and things like that we all kind of know, and famous themes and things like that, but if you actually read it, there's just like pages upon pages of like, this governor of Florence from 400 AD to 500 AD, he sure was a bad guy, right? Because he supported the Greens instead of the Reds. It's like, it really reads like a history textbook. It actually reads more like, it reads less like a history textbook, which doesn't really get so much into like the conflicts of political parties. It reads more like Dante's blog about his political positions sometimes. That's why I'm a Paradise Lost guy myself. I think Dante's Inferno is great, and I've been very inspired by it. As so many people have, but I prefer Paradise Lost for that reason. It's less, it still does, you know, it's still an epic poem, and in that form, they do a lot of digressions to irrelevant history, and Paradise Lost does that, but not quite as much. Oops. Turned it upside down. Steven, when working on a live study, are there any tips to get the colors right or how to get better with colors in general? By live study, do you mean working from the model? Because if you're working from the model, you know, whether it's a person or you're out looking at a scene in nature, you need to edit the colors. You don't have as many colors as reality. So you need to have an opinion about the colors. You need to say they're very desaturated, they're very saturated, they're mostly red, they're mostly green, something like that. And you need to try to make your picture communicate your opinion about the colors rather than the reality of the colors, which is, the reality doesn't really exist. in nature. It's always shifting. Depends how dilated your pupils are. So you need to come up with a voice, an opinion, and state that in the picture instead. I feel the temptation to make that joke about turning into Frank Frazetta if you copy all of constructive anatomy in one night again. Send help. I don't know what the joke would be, but don't do that. It's obviously Frazetta lying. Frazetta loved to lie about himself to build his legend. And even if he did do it, it's obvious he wouldn't remember everything. It would have just been a stunt. At best, it would have proved his dedication to his teacher, but it obviously wouldn't do anything. You'd forget it. I know a guy who tried it. I begged him, like, it's not going to work, it's not going to do anything. I didn't beg him, but I told him, like, I mean, go for it if you want, but it's obvious it's not going to work. It's not going to do anything. And he tried it, and then he came back and he was like, it doesn't do anything. I was like, yeah, no shit. Good morning, Max. What's your opinion about the corporate illustration style, for example, the one Facebook uses, in contrast with companies like Duolingo that use the same style but do a better job with it? Silly, personally. I believe the style has a name. What's it called? Allegra, I want to say? Or is that a erection medicine? That style has a name. I really have I don't know, what kind of opinion would I have on corporate illustration styles, much less something that like Facebook would use. It's like, I don't know, I just find it completely uninteresting. It's like lowest common denominator is just meant to be inoffensive. It's just meant to, honestly, it's probably just meant to look like the UI, right? It's probably just meant to have the same rounded corners as everything else that's going on the phone app. It's like, it's not even, not something I'm interested in at all. It's just, it doesn't cross paths with my interest in art at any moment. Yeah, can anyone confirm what the name of the Facebook happy round people art style is? Do you ever procrastinate making art? Oh yeah. I'm usually procrastinating making art by making other art though. Which is its own very specific circle of hell. It's just like there's this piece of art I know I need to make, but I get caught up sketching something else instead. Do you not listen to music while working? I do. I just tend not to listen to music while I stream. Because I talk so much while I stream. It gets a little distracting while I'm trying to talk. Or in some sense, it's like the auditory space that I'm trying to fill with music when I'm working on my own, I fill with my own voice while I'm streaming. So lately I haven't been playing music while I stream. Sometimes I play music on the stream and I set it so that I can't hear it, but that you guys can hear it. I just don't play it over my headphones for myself. How are you feeling today, Steven? Curious. Feeling very curious. Thoughts on Control Paint? I haven't looked at Control Paint in a long time. Control Paint was on my radar years and years ago when he launched it, but I haven't watched it in a very long time. It was good. Hey Steve, I'm new here and apparently I have to get the course. You have to get the course. I mean, everybody knows that. I mean, you get the course, dude. It's not a requirement, but it's a requirement. It's just like if you don't get the course, like, what are you doing, dog? Hey Steven, do you have any plans on publishing your writings? I would be very interested in reading the stuff you write. Not right now. I appreciate your interest though. You mean writings about like the kind of stuff that's on the YouTube channel? Are there any movies that inspire your art? Oh, I love movies. All of them. Every movie I've ever seen probably inspires me in some subconscious way. The synthwave playlist in your Plant Monster stream was a banger. Epidemic sound. We have epidemic sound to thank. I would love to hear your ideas that surround the work you create. Oh man, yeah. If I put out writings, it would be about if I quote unquote published anything that was mostly writing, it'd be one of my projects around my personal drawings. And it would be very much that. Thoughts about the ideas that surround my artwork. My ideas have become progressively more strange as time goes on. I don't really think it's something that is necessarily alluded to in the drawings. Well, it is for me, but I feel like the stuff that keeps me drawing, you would never read it in the drawings, you know? It'd be a weird thing to pick out. There was a podcast episode where you read some of your writings, and I really liked those. Oh, yeah, I remember that, and that was fun. What I have in there, I had a reading from the Adversaria. That's one of my personal writing projects. I love that one. I got to get back to that one. I had that other one about the moping devil who doesn't want to be the devil anymore. The devil who realizes he doesn't remember how he got there. What's your take on AI and the inevitable moment when it replaces all jobs? Yeah, my take is AI has an inevitable moment when it replaces all jobs. That's my take. Hey Steve, I've just got here. Please start over again. No problem. All right, everybody. Reset your positions. Let's hit the lights. Audience, everybody exit stream. Re-enter. Let's do it on a count of like 15 seconds from right now. Everybody exit, then re-enter. I'll pretend that I wasn't here. We'll erase all the drawings. Everything will be just fine. Let's do it. Let's do it for Wanderer. Some of your detractors have accused you of insufficiently kissing your dog. How do you plead? I mean, this is so ludicrous, I don't even think it deserves a response. Anyone who knows me, anyone, knows that I kiss my dog enough. And that I'm painfully aware that dogs get depressed if you don't give them kisses. And I would never do this to my dog. They only slander themselves with these lies. Someone took your seat. Oh no. What is your opinion on the painter Francis Bacon? Good stuff. Never done a deep dive, but everything I've seen, pretty cool. I don't know what the heck that is. Ooh, I'm a ghost. No, now he's a ghost. Now he's a ghost. Don't you think AI being so big in society could create lots of new specific jobs related to developing all kinds of AI, but at the same time reduce greatly the span of the fields of work present now? Unless there's an AI for developing all kinds of AIs. Hey Steven, had a dream where you were flying towards me without any control while screaming woo-hoo. Maybe I'm watching too much of your streams. I think so. I think that's probably a sign that you're watching too many streams. Super cool to have my consciousness instanced in another consciousness though. Happy to be there. Wow, it's lovely here. Oh, so this is what it feels like to be you. That's pretty cool. Where'd my get my character menu back. There we go. Let me answer some stuff here. Steven, have you already discussed your background in design and what brought you to where you are now? I'm a product designer that started because I love transportation design. Nice. I went down the classic entertainment route. Video games and movies were a big part of my childhood. And like so many of us around 15, you know, it suddenly clicked. I encountered like, oh my God, wait, that's a job. Someone has to make those. And then like so many of you, I was like, well, I enjoy it, so obviously I'll like working on it. So then I began a decades-long effort to achieve that. Went to design school in Los Angeles where a lot of that stuff was positioned. And there we go. Went into the industries. That was about 10 years ago that I started working. No, more than that now, I guess. I got my first freelance gig off of CG Hub when I was like 20 or 21, off of an art test on CG Hub. So it was either 11 years ago or 10 years ago that I started working. Steven, any tips for driving cars? Go fast. I mean, the safest thing you can do in a car is go as fast as possible, because if someone else makes a mistake, you're out of there. You know, like someone takes a wrong turn, you're going too fast. You're gone. They can't hit you. Someone hits their brake at the wrong time, you're going too fast. You're already out of there. You're safe, right? Someone is texting, you're going too fast. They can't hit you. It doesn't matter, because in the time it took them to look, to just glance at their phone, you zipped right past. You zipped right past. So the safest thing you can do is drive as fast as possible when you drive a car. Maybe I'll draw a little spaceship. That was why I made the thumbnail for this stream, the space shuttle. I was like, maybe I want to draw a spaceship. And then as soon as I started streaming, I was like, I don't want to draw a spaceship. I never know what to do with the thumbnails on these, because I haven't drawn what I'm drawing in this video yet, you know? So it would, of course, be my preference to just have what I draw in the stream be the thumbnail, but Little jets. Sounds like your journey. Nice, Tyler. Do you still have your design school portfolio? Yes. Oh wait, do you mean my entrance portfolio or my, like, what I had at the exit? I actually still have my entrance portfolio, but I think I've lost a bunch of the files for the stuff I was doing at the end of design school. I believe a lot of those files were saved on a big PC that I had. And I have no idea where that PC went. I can't remember where the hell I put that thing. But I can't imagine I wouldn't have thrown it out, you know? It had stuff on it. I gotta go use the restroom, guys. I'll be right back. You get the course. You get the course.
Come in. Oh.
Hello, Joseph, is it?
Hi, Dr. Zapata. Yes, Joseph. Joe. How are you?
I'm well. What seems to be the problem, Joe?
Well, I'm having difficulty drawing from imagination.
Oh. Joseph, just so you know, that's totally normal. Why don't you tell me a little more about your problem? Is it that you can only draw from imagination if you're completely alone?
Doc, I can't ever draw from imagination.
What about if you're completely relaxed?
When I'm totally relaxed, I can't imagine a thing.
I see. Joseph, it's important to know that even with severe cases like this, there's always hope. I can prescribe an experimental therapy called Form from Imagination.
Form from imagination?
Mm-hmm. It's early days, but clinical trials are extremely promising. Why don't you try this for 6 months and then check back in with me?
Okay, I'll do whatever it takes. Did you just draw this?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. Hey, Doc, do you ever have trouble drawing from imagination?
Oh, no.
You wouldn't. I mean, you drew this.
That's right.
Wow.
Form from Imagination is an experimental therapy and is not yet approved for use by the FDA. Do not use Form from Imagination if you are already taking any prescriptions for drawing from reference, working side size, or tracing photos you didn't even take. Stop taking Form from Imagination if you experience any of these side effects: loss of interest in your personal projects, megalomaniacal self-confidence, hallucinations, unless they're the kind you're hoping for, drawing better than Steven Zapata, or feelings that purchasing the course was enough and you don't really need to do the exercises. Call your doctor if you have stiff gestures, flat forms, or boring ideas to address a possible life-threatening condition. Full sketchbooks have been reported with Form from Imagination and medicines like it. Other risks include long-term art careers, too many clients, and being worth more than you're charging for. Call your doctor today and ask about Form from Imagination. I mean, you get it. You obviously get it. It needs to be got. It needs to be got. The truth is that it needs to be got. My gestures have been stiff for roughly 8 hours. What do I do? You need to call your doctor. I don't want to scare you by telling you what the life-threatening condition might be. Create a lot of unnecessary suffering. You just need to speak with a medical professional immediately. Immediately. Should I get Human Anatomy for Artists, The Elements of Form, or Atlas of Human Anatomy for the Artist, or is it worth it to get both? I do not remember which books those are. Do not remember. Give me the authors' names instead of the names of the books. Goldfinger and Stephen Rogers Peck. They're both very similar. I wouldn't say one is necessarily like clearly better than the other, but they sort of fill the same niche, you know? They're really both like the reference style anatomy book. Very similar. Peck has the better diagrams because he like paints them in gouache and they're hyper realistic, but Goldfinger is more exhaustive. I think Goldfinger's my preference. But I don't know if you want the exhaustive, you know? Neither is legible. Like, not legible, obviously legible, but neither is like a book you read, you know, where you start at the beginning and you go to the end. But if one of them was going to be like that, it'd be Peck. Goldfinger you can't read start to finish. It's not even a textbook. It's like an index, you know? Hey, Steve, should I study Vilpu or Bridgman? It's a gap in my knowledge as a teacher because I really should be more familiar with Vilpu's methods and what he teaches. And unfortunately, I am not. I've never watched Glenn myself. I should check out his stuff. So I'm going to refrain from giving a, you know, one or the other sort of recommendation there. Glenn's work is, you know, I haven't seen Glenn's teaching, but I've seen his work, and his work is certainly much clearer than Bridgman, so that's useful. Or that on its own might be an important distinction for some. I mean, Bridgman is very confusing. I mean, Bridgman is really almost just a joke to tell you, like, you know, you could do whatever you want and you can still make it look like a body if you just put the key stuff in there. It's like he destroys his bodies and they still look like bodies. Look cool. Hey, Steven, if you could have any augmentation to help with your art, what would it be? Augmentation. Like a physical augmentation? Like a physical augmentation to my body? Is that what you mean, or do you mean like a tool? Of all the criticism Bridgman gets, no one book has improved my figures more. Yeah, I mean, Bridgman's great. I think he's just very confusing for people. I copied Bridgman. He helped me a lot. Hey, Evolved Being, what's up? Good to see you again. Do you ever have trouble with spending too much time on the computer with blue lights and stuff? Not really. Maybe I'm just lucky in that regard. I get annoyed being behind in the exact same spot all day, but I don't know. I sleep pretty well. Sleep pretty well, all things considered. Augmentation, like a chip or glasses that help you see perspective. Oh man, it really feels like there'd be too many options. I don't know, I'd have to think. There'd be so many fun ones to try for stuff that I don't actually want to use for my work. Like, I would totally, like, even though I don't paint from life, I would totally go for the glasses that would tell me what oil paints to mix to make any color that I'm seeing out in the field. But I don't work like that. You know, I'd just be morbidly curious. You know, it'd be like a constant feed of interesting mixing information. I'd have to think a bit to think of something that would like be relevant for my work. It'd be nice if you had like a glasses or something that would look at what you were drawing and immediately know like kind of what it looks like. And then it could show you, pull up references. It's like, this kind of looks like a cow. Do you have any idea what a cow looks like? Here, this is what a cow looks like. And then you just got like a reference picture up in the corner. No deal with the ships, Alex. Just doing whatever. Just felt like drawing ships. They could totally go into drawing Ascendant, though. Since the Steven clones of the future would probably want to have ships that were based on things that I designed during my lifetime. So it's like, by definition, these would wind up in there. Steve, these aren't demons or naked men. Is everything okay? No, clearly not. Should be clear that everything is not okay. Steve, does tracing references make you draw better, or it just holds you back? It depends on the drawing problem. Like, there's certain... Sometimes if something is completely alien to you, like, let's say you just really are completely unfamiliar with something like a horse or something like that, tracing a few photos of a horse is often a good way to just, like, become familiar with the kinds of shapes that exist on that thing, you know? I think there it's useful, but then you got to move on from it at some point. There's only so much understanding that can come from that. Steven, can you draw naked demon women? Never. I will not be so easily tricked. Zapata, do you invent this shapes right now, or are you using reference? No reference right now. Just chilling. Just inventing and messing around. Just bought a beautiful new art book. Good for you, JD. Will we ever see Steven Zapata art book in the future? Yeah, I think so. I'd like to do one, but the numbers ain't right now. If you guys want a Steven Zapata art book, tell your friends about the channel. Publishing an art book, unless you have like a very fortunate deal with someone, publishing an art book is like, you need huge capital up front. The minimums to get anything good published are pretty damn high. Really high. Very expensive. And if you do it like without a partner and you're going to ship it yourself and fulfill it yourself, it basically becomes your life for like 2 years. So you got to charge a lot and things like that. And you're going to lose money on not taking jobs while you fulfill. So yeah, I'd like to do it in the future, but it would just need, I would need to have a bigger audience, you know. From my understanding and my insight, talking to people who've done it and stuff like that, it would, to try to make one and ship one right now would ruin my life with the audience that I have. So later, once the margins aren't so tight. Oh, we lasted a long time without the bot. Steven, do you have any tips for rendering the dark areas? I feel like I have little to work with in terms of values and contrast, especially when there's no strong ambient lights. You know, I covered this in great detail in Form from Imagination, my incredible new drawing course that's available. Follow the link in the description to check it out. Dozens of demos, 50 plus videos, detailed instruction. We begin with the foundations and we work all the way up to advanced concepts. All right, so now that I got that plug out of the way, it's a pretty, you know, without seeing specifics, it's a little hard to tell, but the best thing I can say, the best general thing I can say is that make sure that your dark accents within the shadows are as dark as they can go. For example, let's say I have, this is really general, but like, say I have, this is what my shadows look like, right? It's like, oh no, it's murky, it's black, there's no contrast, there's nothing I can do with it. The easiest first step you can do, because it'd be easy to say, you know, just raise the values so that there's more contrast, but then it messes up the light, is make sure your dark accents are actually black. So if they go true black, wait, let me do that on a new layer. They reveal just how colorful the rest of the shadow is. So see how without that black, we look at that and we're just like, it's nothing, it's smudge, it's pure darkness. And then once I put the black in there, suddenly it reveals that the bottom right is more red, the top is more green yellow, bottom left has its own color cast, more of a brown. Having a really, really dark accent opens up the value range and allows the shadows to sing more. And that's a really extreme example because I made those dark color patches truly dark. I mean, look how far down they are on the cube. Thanks, it is what it is. Hey Stephen, what do you think about Alphonse Mucha's work? One of the best to ever do it. One of the best. Top 5 maybe. Top 10 at worst. Any plans on another 100-hour plus pencil drawing? Oh yeah, I mean, I got nothing but plans. 100 hours is nothing. Once I move, which is such a pain, my attempts to move are extremely frustrating right now. But once I have more space, if I can get into a place that's actually a comfortable damn place to work, forget 100 hours, 200-hour drawings, 300-hour drawings. Up in scale, gonna have a permanent place for them to sit on an easel all the time. Getting a 42-inch wide roll of Strathmore 300 bristle paper, doing them giant, 6 feet wide. 100 hours will be nothing. 100 hours will be a corner of these drawings. How do I explain to my boss that character design and environment design need completely different skill sets? You don't. If your boss doesn't understand that, they probably never will. They just don't want to hire another person. Probably New York. It's just family. Sure does make it hard to get space as an artist to live in New York, but you know, the consequence of liking your family. I'm getting a Prince's guitar vibe off of this design. I like the gentler colors out at the stationary parts of the design, and then having the more intense colors in the area of tension. That's kind of interesting. What else can I do with that? Let me get more space. Steve, living in a developing country, the course would cost me 2 months worth of salary. Yikes. Can I have a discount? I appreciate the attempt to haggle, but no. I can't really give discounts or anything like that. The course has because I do feedback on the course, it just needs to cost what makes it worth my time to give ongoing feedback. And this one's coming out very John Burkey. These are like some John Burkey shapes. Now, if only it was John Burkey quality. Is there a recording of your Paint 1 battle? I don't know. Probably somewhere out there. I don't have it. I think the closest you'll get is my Instagram story highlights from the competition. I don't know if I posted, I forget now. I don't think there's really video. I mean, you can't see our screens, what we're drawing. I just posted some write-ups of, you know, a little jocular summary of how each match went. Still trying to remember the shape of the Uber that drove you here from the heavens? Good Christ. This would be an expensive Uber. That spaceship is like someone opening their mouth and sticking out their tongue. Yeah, it is. What sort of character build did you rock on Bloodborne? If multiple, which was your favorite? Yeah, I did all sorts of stuff. The low-level character was probably my favorite. The one that I kept at level 30. Got endgame gear on. What was I? It was a Dex build. I think so. I don't quite remember the build because it was all about chalice gems and plus 10 weapons and things like that. It's like your build barely matters when you're at level 30, you know? Have you played Subnautica? I have not, but I've watched a bunch of it. Watched people play it a bunch. Never got around to it myself. Was it Dex and something else, or just pure Dex? I think it was pure Dex, because what was I invading with on that guy? I think I was invading with the Blades of Mercy, mostly. Yeah, I made it to invade. It was for invasions, but I wasn't really like, I wasn't really about being low level with super crazy weapons. I wanted a low level character so that I could do like environmental damage invasions. That was my favorite thing to do. Like I love to fight people in Old Yarnum and try to take them out with like the exploding urn over the blood-starved beast. I like dueling people on the stairs in Yargul and trying to get them to get hit by the laser while we were dueling. That's the stuff I like to do as an invader. And there's a bit of that almost everywhere, you know. I wasn't really into just crushing a level 30 player with a plus 10 weapon or anything like that. It was about doing it creatively. That's what I liked. How do you keep your motivation intact while working on large projects? It's mostly just about finding ways to reinvigorate the fun, you know? Motivation is going to wane. Motivation is nothing. Who cares about motivation? You just need to you get bored, because that's what people do. They get bored. And then you say, all right, well, what would make it exciting again? And you ask yourself that question over and over and over again, and you add stuff. Change the style, change the feel, change emotional moments, you know? It's part of the discipline of being an artist to find ways to reinvigorate yourself. It's not optional, it's necessary. That's fun. Yeah, I liked feeling. My favorite thing about the multiplayer system in From games, which is not everybody plays this way, but I like feeling like I'm part of the level. I like feeling like I'm an enemy in the level. That's why invading is fun for me. So I never like dueled. I never went to like the Bloodborne Fight Club or anything like that. I would never just like sit in the meta PvP arenas where all the dueling goes on. I want to invade, add in the level, and I like feeling like I'm part of the level and like I'm working with the enemies that are in the level. That's what's fun for me. That's like my favorite game. That's like better than the base game for me. It's such a fun and weird experience. And you just can't do it a lot. There's not a lot of options for stuff like that. Hey, Steven, I've seen Mobius say in an interview that creating art is better without any emotions attached to it. What do you think about that? For him? I mean, for him? That's the great thing about art. I mean, you get whatever practice you ask for. If Mobius asks for a practice where there's no emotion and that'll be better, he'll get it. And you can go the completely other way. You can say you want a practice that is all emotion, and you'll get it. Let me get this bot. Have you noticed dietary habits affecting your drawing? Well, only in the sense that if you're not eating well and not exercising, you get tired and stuff like that. That certainly happens, but it's not like I don't think there's anything like eating tomatoes makes you better at drawing. Steven, did you ever play Dark Souls 3? Yes. Abe's Odyssey did not play. Was the ship carrying Steven Zapata originals? No spoilers. If carrots did make you better at drawing, don't talk about it. Else the government will make it an illegal substance. Keep it under wraps. Shut your yap. Keep it under wraps. Shut your yap. I thought it was interesting because the stuff Mobius made had a feel to it, even though he tried to create without any emotions. You've also got to remember, that might have just been, it's art. It's like, that might have just been what Mobius felt that day. Just the day he happened to be interviewing, you know? Maybe that's just what was working for Mobius that week. And then the next week, Mobius was like, because, you know, we artists, we have eurekas constantly. The next week, he could have been like, duh, of course you need emotions. You know, you're really supposed to care a lot about what you're doing. It's like, art's flexible. It changes all the time. And no, don't take... It's like you can't really put too much stock on anything that an artist said just one time. You know, it's going to change for them, too. What carrots give the best stat boost? Darkly born carrots. It's obvious. Steven, yesterday I just decided to paint a piece because I was bored, but illustrating isn't really my thing. I want to do character design. I did research, found that if I want to do characters, I need Photoshop. Is this true? No. It is not true. You can learn character design and execute character design in anything. You could do it with pencil and paper. Once you get a job, if you're trying to get a job, your studio is going to tell you what software you need to work in because it needs to be the same one as everyone else on the team, right? But beyond that, no, there's no hard requirements on what you use. Thank you, Vigal. Vigals. Vigals. Oh, it's nothing. What, this old thing? Steven, hi. First time in one of your streams. I also draw, and you are an inspiration for me. Thanks for sharing your true self in this way. Hey, my pleasure. Thank you for being here. Always happy to draw and share my true self. It's pretty easy to be honest about art. It's not as easy as it should be, but art is a very relaxing thing. If you're going to be your true self anywhere, it's going to be with art, right? Looks like a shark. Yeah, weird ships. Weird ships today. Just letting the mind unravel itself. Letting it just regurgitate whatever it's been building up in the background lately. I have Clip Studio Paint, and every character design video I watch, they use Photoshop. So I figured there was something to that, or something I was doing wrong. The materials seemed to work a bit better. Yeah, no, I mean, Photoshop doesn't do... For something like character design, Photoshop doesn't do anything special that Clip Studio doesn't. If you're going to use a lot of like photos in your character design, it might be easier to do it with Photoshop, but besides that, nothing. I don't see any reason why you couldn't do it all in Clip Studio. Again, until it's a gig, in which case the client might have different requirements. It's not the software, it's the mindware. That was Hubs, not me, just for the record. Oops. Hey Steven, what is an artist you learned a lot from? Oh, not you, Siri. I said, hey Steven. I usually go to Frazetta. It's one of the first ones I always say, but I've learned from many, many artists. Like a lot. Like, whoa. Like really a lot of people. I've copied a lot. I've listened a lot. I've read a lot. Just huge amount of artists. I would describe my influences as eclectic. Hey Steven, what's the best adult dating site? I don't know. If you hear of any, let me know. Do you think Frazetta ever jammed out to Ronnie James Dio type stuff while making orcs and buff dudes with axes? I bet not. I bet Frazetta thought all that was still nerdy because he was like a jock. I bet he thought he was painting orcs ironically. He probably listened only to Frank Sinatra. Only Frank Sinatra vinyls for Frankie. Ooh. Hey Steven, do you have a chat modder to get rid of those aggravating bots? No, it's just me. I do it. I feel some artists become someone else in front of the camera for entertaining or being popular. But you're so honest, and that's awesome. You have acknowledgement of one Venezuelan on Chile. Hey, thanks, Kevin. I try not to become someone else. Well, I don't really... I think it'd be difficult for me to do that because I'm drawing, you know, like I don't really, because I'm at the same time as I'm doing this, actually, you know, drawing, and I'm not, you know, I'm trying to draw well, you know, for whatever the heck I feel like doing at the moment, but it'd be difficult to maintain that and put on an act, you know. I don't have quite the energy for that. You know, some days I have more energy than others and things like that, but like, you know, if I'm high energy one day, it's because I'm genuinely high energy that day. And if I'm lower energy that day, it's because I'm genuinely lower energy that day, you know? I wish Steven was more fake and manipulative, like my ex-wife. Give me time. I could still get there. No, come on. I can still get there. I know they want us to get involved in the best adult dating site of all time. I'm sure probably at least half of the stream has already joined, has already clicked and joined. Hubs, Andrew, if we were in a classroom, I would just separate you guys. Just you go sit at that desk, you go sit at that desk. Just leave each other be. We're not even looking for resolution here. No admissions of guilt, nobody right or wrong. It's over now. It's just done. Heads down, focus on your test. When you started studying seriously to become a pro, did you have more of an analytical view like modern day James, or were you more intuitive? I always was a more analytical type. I had to learn to be more intuitive. Other people are the other way. Andrew, I give you a warning. I'm not, you know, making any kind of proclamation of who's right, who's wrong here. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Andrew, if you send one more message about it, I'm going to lovingly expel you from the chat. With a lot of love, though. With love and care. It's not about the topic. It's just about the energy, so that people can feel calm and happy and draw. This is not a place for argument. Do you think programming can be artistic? I think anything is artistic that someone can get lost in. So I think if you're a plumber and you can experience that artistically, then yes, it is artistic. I can't imagine plumbing feeling artistic, but I'm not a plumber. Hello, Lance. Greetings, greetings. Cooking is art, am I right? That's what the chefs say. But I think they're just trying to wield their power over us. They're drunk off the fact that they keep us alive. I hope that's true, Nick. I really hope that's true. It's Luigi Mario. That's a load of toadstool to you, peasant. How many times do I have to tell you not to look in my eyes? He has failed to pay his taxes for 5 years. Take his head. I said take his head. Make his wife watch. Morning, Steven. I want to let you know that between you and Therapist Reacts to Kung Fu Panda, you come first by a small margin as entertainment while doing the dishes. That's nice. I'm gonna have to see this Kung Fu Panda video. So Steven, can't stop thinking you have some Latin vibes. I'm correct? Yeah, my last name is Zapata. My family's from Colombia. I was born in America, though. Yeah, that's Lord Mario to you. Or Dr. Mario, whichever you prefer. It's either Lord Mario or Dr. Mario. No. Steven, who are the best artists that were prominent before 1990? Oh God, there's so many. Most of them. Most prominent artists were before 1990. I don't know. '50s, '60s, and '70s were really good eras for the kind of art that I like. Frazetta, obviously. I really like Bernie Fuchs, 60s era magazine illustrator. Bob Peak. I like all of the sort of golden age of magazine illustration illustrators, like what's his name? Like the Robert Fawcett's, the Albert Dorns. There's so many of them. All those guys who are contemporaneous with like Norman Rockwell and stuff like that, and we're doing interiors. Is your process for environments generally grouping values like this, or am I misunderstanding what you're doing at this stage? It's generally not this. I do stuff like this when I do like sequentials or storyboards sometimes, but usually not. I'm just doing it on a lark, really. Usually when I want to do an environment, if it's very serious, it's just about as rigid as I ever work. I mean, I get a tight line drawing, then I fill in all flat colors, keep colors on separate layers and stuff like that, just because if you're doing well, when I do environments, they're not really usually landscapes. My environments usually have like for work and things like that, are usually architectural stuff or interiors. So there's a huge amount of different materials, different local values and stuff like that. So the majority of the process there is about just separating everything out and cleanly delineating everything. This is mostly just a leftover from doing storyboards and stuff like that. Just looking for simple shapes. Do you really not draw hot girls? No. It's just not on brand for me. It's off brand to draw a hot girl. I was one time in Colombia while running from Venezuela. I ran so much that I ended up in the last country south of the continent. I feel you, man. Look, sometimes you gotta run away from Venezuela. Sometimes things don't shake out the way everybody wanted. Bye, Vegels. I recognize this music from Ahmed's videos. I'm not playing any music. Am I? No. You were watching my last stream, didn't know you were live? Surprise. Surprise. I'm just learning how to draw with pencil. How steep is the learning curve for digital drawing like this? It's not that steep if you already have hand skills from pencil. I mean, theoretically, there's none. There's no learning curve. If you already like your work and you have a really strong grasp of things in pencil, nothing changes in digital. And the learning curve would only exist from, like, let's say you were using Photoshop, learning how Photoshop works, which is like a couple days just watching videos on how the application menus and stuff work for drawing, right? If you're trying to do photo editing, that's very different. But if you're just trying to draw in there, there's only a few menus you need to know how to use. And then the rest of the learning curve is actually just produced by paralysis around not knowing how you want to draw. Let's say you knew you wanted to draw like this, the way that I have on screen right now. And let's say that you practiced enough by hand that you could get this look with ink. The learning curve is 1 day to learn it in Photoshop, right? The only thing that would prevent that is that you're not as good at it as you think yet by hand. So it really doesn't matter whether you're learning it by hand or digital. You just don't understand the concepts yet, or you don't know how to make it look great. Or the menus, the tools, that's it. What do you think about Jim Lee and the comic style in general? Jim Lee's a legend, man. The comic style is not for me. You know, I like to do other things. I happen to be drawing almost comic bookish in that last sketch. But I'm not really... if you've seen my pencil work, that's really what I consider to be like my favorite thing. It's more soft rendering. It's not like there's no comics that don't have that. It's just rare. You had Ahmed's video playing in another tab? Yeah. I think I suffer from small head syndrome, Steven. My head drawings are always tiny in relation to the body. How do I overcome this? It's a better problem to have. It's better than having heads that are too big. Small heads look better. The classic cure is to over-exaggerate in the other direction temporarily. So for a few days or a couple weeks, however long it takes, you kind of purposefully choose to draw the heads bigger than you feel comfortable with. And then the idea is that if you do that for a while, you'll fall back from that naturally and you'll balance out and you'll wind up in a good middle area. I'm not familiar with that artist, Logan. Oh, wait, yes, I am. Well, I've heard of Blame. I've heard of the comic Blame and seen frames from it before. Yeah, very cool stuff. When I do an interior concept for work, like if I do it on a gig, that's what the first sketch looks like. It's like only for me. It's only for you at that point. I gotta use the restroom again. I'll be right back. I'm not gonna play the ad again. I'm just gonna play a quick sting and it's gonna be black screen for a bit. Sorry. I need to loop that thing. let's see. We've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's 12 p.m. I got a bunch of errands I need to do today. Let's go until we hit 3 hours streaming. Is over-exaggeration universally applicable? I have some aspects I think I could try it on. I think it works particularly well for proportions. I think it's necessary sort of permanently for questions of like maintaining the energy of sketches and things like that. Oh, Steve, I catch this stream by mere coincidence. Do you announce your streams previously or have on any schedule? Nope. I'm doing like 3 days a week right now. But I don't have like a scheduled time. My toilet just started making new and exciting sounds yesterday. So I'm sure it's just gonna break any second now, any minute now for no reason. Gooch Canoe, good morning. What the heck do I want to draw? My head is elsewhere, honestly. I'm thinking about the stuff I gotta do after stream. You know how errands build up. Sometimes there's just a lot of chores to do. You showing us the kind of sketches you do for work is super diamond. It really shows that it more or less starts the same. Yep. Yeah, I mean, sketching is just sketching. You know, you kind of gotta... At least if you're designing, if you're in a moment of design, it's almost inevitable that you need to just like scribble in the way that's most natural for you. You know, it's different if you already have your design and you're trying to set up for illustrating, which case you might base your process on what's going to work for your illustration process. But if you're designing, you just got to design. Steven, how do you do away with graphite shine? You cannot, as far as I know. You can get the new matte pencils that the companies are making, but they still have shine, it's just less. I don't mind the shine, personally. I think it makes the drawing look like a shimmering jewel. And it certainly makes it easy to tell what's the original and what's a print. It's like gold. Black colored pencils, yeah, they do, a lot of them have less shine. Depends how much you use them, because they also get an effect called wax bloom. So it depends what kind of colored pencil you use, how heavily you use it. Because that wax bloom will become shiny as well. The boards. They're around. That's just the reality we live in. They watch. They watch. Do they contribute a view? They better contribute a view. You're reading Chainsaw Man. Do you read some mangas? I do not. I do not read them. I don't hate them either. I don't really read manga. Well, you have read some Berserk, right? Yep. I didn't read very far. Do you study Renaissance art? Yes. It's probably been what is... Well, Well, maybe it's not the most influential. No, maybe it is. I mean, it's right up there. Probably my favorite kind of art to go see is Renaissance art. I love how formal it is. Love how sincere it is. You know, I was raised Catholic, so the symbology and all of that is just of my culture. And the bodies, you know, the old master stuff. Oh, a new AI will find a girl for you. Oh, very nice, very nice. You don't have to make your art anymore, and the robot can pick your girlfriend. Very cool. Very cool. Uh-oh, I can't get rid of this one. Whoop. Bye, Simon. Wooga. Yeah. Steven, when are you going to do more graphite drawings? They're never far away. Do them constantly. Have I done one since I finished the Centaur last week? Well, I'm constantly sketching in my sketchbook in graphite, so I have, but I did some mixed media stuff after that as well. Some heads that had marker as bases and then graphite on top. Midnight here in the Philippines? Ah. Midnight. Best time for drawing. Hey Steven, love your vibe and really appreciate your emphasis and calm confidence when discussing how people should make the art that they like. The way you describe it makes it sound like a meditation. I think it is. My question is, do you see an image in your head and express it, or do you let the drawing guide you? I do both, depending on the picture. But I would say, like, just off of volume, like which one I do more often, I'm just letting the drawing guide me. I can, like this sketch that I'm doing, I didn't have anything in mind as I started drawing this. But now that I've sketched it, I can imagine a very realistic, in heavy air quotes, a very realistic version of this scene in my head now that I've arrived at it on paper, right? And it could have gone the either direction. I feel like they're always kind of like happening at the same time, no matter how you perceive it. But I don't really like it's like when I'm drawing, I'm concerned with the drawing. I'm not really super worried about I'm not trying to like see something in my mind and quote unquote trace it, right? Like I don't think that's possible actually. No, Gooch Canoe, I cannot. I'm learning how to draw faces right now. Is it better to do studies digitally or traditionally? Do whatever lets you sink into the form more. It's all about the form. If you connect with form more digital, do it digital. If you connect more with form traditional, do it traditional. For me, it's traditional. That lets me really spend time with things and get sucked into them. Just wanted to say thank you for the monitoring your artistic mindset video. Helped me a lot yesterday. You got it, Samuel. Happy to help. Steven, I want to ask, what do you do when you're out of drawing ideas? I just keep drawing. I don't have any ideas right now. Like, today I don't really like... Today, for example, I don't really like particularly feel like drawing. You know? I don't have any ideas. Nothing cool really leaping to mind or anything like that. What are you so angry about? She just walked off in a huff while barking. And my answer to that generally is, who cares? It's like, just because I feel that way doesn't mean I don't draw, you know? It doesn't mean I have to expect to do bad work or to that I shouldn't be drawing or something like that. It's just like, okay, sit down and draw anyway. You know, I have a relationship with drawing, you know, and I'm interested in developing the relationship, not in like a moment to moment, you know, just we're doing it because it's going perfect and everything is to expectations and things like that, you know. Hello, Steven. I have trouble coming up with things to draw. How do you get inspiration? You know, the obvious answer is, you know, things you like movies, games, books, things like that. But if you find yourself in a position where you're saying, like, I have trouble getting inspiration, it's likely that, you know, you probably need less video games in your life, not more video games. You know, I love video games for, I'm just dealing with typical problems that people have here. So you really just gotta, like, just go. Just do it anyway. You know, like you're gonna have ideas as you get to work. You know, one of the most inspirational things you can do is work. You know, it turns out working is very inspiring. Finding that you are bored, uninterested, or tuned out, and that you're still getting good shapes out of things, that will snap you into it. You know, that will make you excited. You'll make something good by accident. So just work anyway. Just work, and often an idea will come while you work. You know, you need to build the temple for the muse, and then the muse will afloat upon it, will alight upon it. Have you studied Ray Bustos' books or taken classes with him? Yes. I took classes with him, and I was his teaching assistant for a while. So I was like in his class, and then I got to retake his class in quotes and eavesdrop and re-listen to all the lectures several times. When I TA'd his class, I didn't just like do other stuff in the back of the class. I would do my TA responsibilities, and then I would just sit there and pay attention like I was taking the class again. I just took it as an opportunity of like, well, you don't learn anatomy in one class or even two classes. Might as well do it again. Let's do it again. Do you have a favorite color, Steven? It's probably blue. It's blue or red. We're talking about for painting, right? Thanks, Gerbaloot. I am having a good day. Oh, you best adult dating website. You familiar with the brushwork Ruangia? Well, I know Ruangia. I don't know what you mean by brushwork Ruangia. Are you familiar with the brushwork Ruangia and some other Chinese masters, if you know any? What do you think about their style? I don't know. I can't say I know many. I'm very familiar with other Chinese masters. I'm assuming Ruangia is Chinese, but I don't actually know. I think Ruangia is great. I mean, he's been around for a long time. I've known his art for years and years. When did he first come on people's radar? I want to say it was like 2010-ish. I gotta get going soon. Bye, Arsene. Simon Lee is probably one of the top Chinese American artists out there. What do you guys think? I love Simon. His sculptures are super cool. Hi, pup. Yes, you're right. Yeah, you're right as always. Yes, it is time for your Coogie. Good thing too. I smell your stinky breath. You need your anti-stink cookie. All right, there's the beginning of a fight scene between some guys and a troll. I got that out there at the last minute, but I don't want to rush it. No need to blast through it just because it happens to have been at the end of stream. All right, I'm gonna hop off. I will be back tomorrow, I think, yeah. Because I wasn't on yesterday, so we'll do Tuesday, Wednesday, probably Friday this week. Actually, might have to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll see. I'll just say goodbye here for a minute. Steve, thanks for sharing your time with us. I've also was drawing while watching. That's the goal, baby. That's what we want around here. Trying charcoal, nice, nice. Charcoal's good. Steven, has a drawing ever made you laugh out loud? Yeah. Usually when I do my my self-portraits, I'm making myself laugh. I'm always when I'm doing one of these. Obviously, I control myself on stream, but when I'm drawing one of these for myself, I'm always laughing while I do this. Other people's drawings don't really make me laugh. I don't find art very funny. Comics are funny, of course, but I think that's a different question than a drawing that will indeed make you laugh. No problem, Rapi. Bye, Gerbalut. Bye, Dahlia. Bye, Pedro. Happy to make you draw. Bye, Neelab. Does live work is more imp in YouTube than normal videos? Like, is it more important, the streams? I don't know. I mean, the streams are just fun way to act. It's to act on needing to post, but also interact with people, to be able to talk and get feedback and stuff like that. Just like get some reaction, some energy, you know, some back and forth. That's what's fun. I do find that, I don't know, most of the live streams these days, most of my live streams get as many or more views than a carefully prepared, pre-written, pre-crafted video. They outpace, the live streams outpace them generally. Bye, Nick. Bye, Max. Bye, Board. By N. Suarez, by Amy's Art, by Bambi Raptor, by Sea Bucket Thorn. All right, everybody. Peace. Take care. Talk soon. And you get the course, obviously. Obviously. The link is in the description. I mean, you get it. You obviously get it.